The following is a special presentation of First Horizons Green Sports Zone. This is the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show. Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the North Greene Lady Husky softball team. We'll recap the past 5 games and look ahead at what's next on North Greene's schedule. But first, before we do that, we need to go ahead and get a word in from our loyal sponsors first. So we'll be right back after this quick message here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone. The Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, and the Baileyton Drug Company. Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the North Greene Lady Husky softball team. As always, joined here with Lady Huskies head softball coach Avery Weems. Coach,
hey,
how's it going today?
It's going good.
Back here on another warm Wednesday afternoon. You got the air blasting in here today. It feels a little cool and chilly in here.
Yeah, I like it that way. Kills the germs.
It does, and it also makes you it makes it finally feel like spring a little bit. Warm outside, cooler inside. It's starting to finally feel like softball weather. And speaking of it getting warmer outside, the Lady Huskies are heating up too, picking up, I believe, 4 wins in the last 5 games that we'll have to talk about right here. We'll start with the most important one, the conference game with Hampton, the first one on our schedule from last Thursday. You pick up a 13-3 win over the Lady Bulldogs, welcoming them back into 1A in your first matchup with them in, I believe, 3 seasons. So how did you get it done against Hampton?
It was really just an all-around effort. I think Charlie Turnmeyer started that game, got the win for us, and then Addie Dean came in and finished off pitching. So they did a good job throwing strikes and getting outs for us. And then just a balanced offensive effort. If you look at the box score, there's hits scattered all the way up and down the lineup. We got some subs in. They had some hits. So just a real good effort all around, I thought. And we did make a couple errors, but we were fortunate they didn't hurt us too bad.
And you look at the box score also in a game where you had 13 hits. I believe you only have 1 extra base hit in there. And it's a lot of singles, but either way, you get on however you can and you score runs however you can. So how does that feel as a head coach, knowing that you get 13 hits and 12 of them are singles?
It's good and bad. You can't really complain about a hit, but also sometimes that means you're not exactly hitting it real hard. Maybe you might have some ground balls with eyes that just find holes, or maybe just some little weak pops that find their way over the infield. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to slug it, you want to hit it hard and get the extra base hits, but can't complain about singles either.
I just wanted to ask about that because I didn't realize until I just looked at Game Changer that you have 13 hits and 12 are singles, but you turn around on Friday and you travel over the short distance to Hardin Park for a game with Greenville, and you play a very competitive game. You end up falling by the score of 5-4, but a 3-run home run by Traylon Sutherland helps you to take a 3-2 lead, and you just weren't able to capitalize on it and score in the later innings. But talk to me about that game with Greenville on Friday and how competitive that was with the Lady Devils.
Yeah, just looking at it, it was at first when we talked about it, we were kind of disappointed in our offensive effort. We didn't have many strikeouts, maybe 6 strikeouts, I can't remember, but
7.
Yeah, still just not having the solid contacts we were looking for. A lot of weak grounders, a lot of pop-ups, and that's just not the strength of our team. We're fast. I like to think we're pretty athletic, and anybody can catch pop-ups. So. I guess not a winning formula there at the plate offensively. But then we went back and watched it on film, and we just didn't deserve to win that game defensively. We had a lot of plays on defense where we didn't convert outs that we should have on some weak pop-ups and just balls that fell that we're used to catching. So we just didn't do enough right there to win that game on either side.
Sorry, a 2-run home run by Traylon Southern. I thought it was a 3-run home run, but we joked about it before the interview started. This will be weird having to scroll up on Game Changer to find the results from the first South Greene game, but you come around on Monday and the Lady Rebels travel down to Baileyton and you finish the game that was suspended from March 27th over at South Greene, then play a 5-inning game after. So you pick up 2 wins in a little modified doubleheader against South Greene. Your offense kind of carried over from that first game, and you never fell off. So how good did it feel to get that doubleheader sweep?
It was excellent. Anytime you play a county rival, it's good to get a win there. And we were pretty pleased with the effort from the girls there. I thought we pitched it real well that day. I think Hannah had just an outstanding day finishing the first game, and then she ended up coming back in to close the second game. Maddie just competed out there. She didn't have her best stuff. I think she'd agree with that, but she competed, and she fell behind 3-0 in several counts, battled back, stayed in it. And then just kept us in the game there, and then we were able to come back and win, or I guess not come back. We were able to stay in it and win that second game as well.
Looking at the pitching, Hannah bridging from March 27th over to Monday, 14 total strikeouts, only 2 hits, no runs, no walks. And then we spoke about Maddie after the game where she got in a lot of 3-ball counts, but not only did she not walk any of those batters, I don't think she allowed a base runner on any of those counts also. How fortunate was it to be able to see her dig deep and get out of those jams?
It's what we expect out of her. She's a competitor, and she's going to go out there and she's going to work hard and battle even when she does fall behind. And just the main thing is just trusting your stuff and trusting you can still locate it and still find the strike zone. So I thought that was obviously good to see, and it's just something we expect out of a senior leader, somebody who's been tried and tested in some of those situations.
It's hard to talk about the first game just because we've already kind of spoke about the first half of the first game way back when a couple weeks ago. And let's move into the second game because you had 2 big hits in that game. It's kind of the opposite of Hampton where you just had single after single after single with errors piled on top that allowed you to score runs. In the South Greene game, you had singles and walks that got you on, but you were able to have 2 big hits that drove home, I think, 5 total runs. Hannah Brooks had a 2 RBI double, and then Addie Dean with the 2 RBI triple and then scored on an error. So how fortunate was it to get 2 of those big hits whenever you needed them in a game where you needed runs?
It was super crucial. They were at big moments, and it kind of Addie's hit there really created the separation we needed, and Hannah's was huge too. You're right, we didn't have as many hits that game, and even when we got on, it was kind of they did a good job. South Greene did of controlling the running game. A lot of times when we get on, some of those girls we can just steal first pitch and not worry about it. But they threw a couple of us out, and we had to be kind of cognizant of that. And then it was important to get those big hits to kind of unload the bases there a few times.
And you get that big hit from Addie in the fourth inning. See, I'm still not used to it only being a 5-inning game, but in what would have been the 6th inning where you get 3 runs right there and then you just have to go close it out with 3 more outs, and you put Hannah in that situation. Take me through that whole entire bottom of the 4th and top of the 5th inning with your mindset, because you told me after the game where if you could get ahead right there, you were going to throw Hannah in, but you don't know what to expect in the game of softball. You get that Little League home run, and then you're able to put Hannah in. What was your mindset going into that inning and throughout the whole thing?
We had kind of planned to do that regardless, because the inning before, I guess in the 4th inning when we were going to bat, I had talked to Hannah about, hey, go out and throw a little bit and make sure you're good and loose. And it was really just because they were about to turn over their lineup again. We were going to face those hitters for the 3rd time through, and we just thought it was probably the best move for that situation. But then once we got the lead, we were dead set on it. We were going to go ahead and make a change and try to close it out. But it was kind of in our head before we took the lead, but then once we did take the lead, it was definitely going to happen.
That might be the most aggressive wave home I've ever seen you deliver to around third base.
You like that?
I did. I didn't notice it until later whenever I saw a highlight of it, but that was a pretty good wave around third. But you then travel to Hancock County on Tuesday, pick up a 10-0 win, a place that you had recently visited in last year's region championship game, and you go up there and have the same luck with a 10-0 win over Hancock County. So how good was it to travel on the road and not only pick up a win, but pick up a win over a team that you might see later down the road when it matters more?
It's a tough place to play, so we are happy just to go there and get a win, but I was really pleased with, I thought we were pretty sharp once we got settled in. Defensively, I thought we made all the plays. I thought Hannah did a good job on the mound for us. Addie Dean came in and through the last inning there, did a good job. So great job there from our pitchers. Took our bats a couple innings to really get settled in there, but once we did, I was pleased with some of our bats too. We worked the count a little bit and had some at bats where we just fouled off, 5, 6, 7 pitches, and then we're able to get on after that. So just some excellent at-bats there, and I was just real pleased all around.
Taking care of business in Sneedville and here at home. Now finishing the rest of the week here with the Tiny Day Tournament, a very special tournament here within Greene County. We'll go ahead and talk about all that right after the break, tell you who the Lady Huskies play and where they play at and what times. But first, as always, we need to thank our loyal sponsors first. So we'll be right back in just a minute after a word from them here on First Horizons Greene Sports Zone.
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
Welcome back to First Horizons Greene Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the North Greene Lady Husky softball team. As always, joined here with North Greene's head coach, Avery Weems. And Avery Weems has a jam-packed schedule coming up as head coach of the Lady Huskies. You look at the schedule ahead, you've got the minimum of 7 games from Thursday to Tuesday, bridging between the Tiny Day and bracket play and regular season action. So we'll go all through of them. We'll give everybody a short preview on each game. But overall, before we start talking about teams, we know the Tiny Day tournament is up ahead. I believe this is the 41st edition of the Tiny Day tournament, I believe. Yeah. And it's always a fun tournament every year. It's always great for Greene County and the community. Last year was your first time being a head coach in the Tiny Day tournament. Now you're going into your second year. So what does the Tiny Day tournament mean to you each and every year?
I think it's important for our girls and our community just to play games, I guess, here locally, but you may not necessarily play local teams. May get some, out of the area teams you're playing against, teams you wouldn't usually match up with. So I think that can be exciting just to get some variety there. And you do run the chance of playing some more of those local teams as well in Sunday bracket play. So I guess it's just kind of the uncertainty of it's kind of exciting, and it is local, so that's nice too.
Tim Armstrong, Cherokee Oaks softball coach, who also helps with the Tiny Day, said the first games were played 40 years ago at the old field. So this is either the 40th or 41st edition of the tournament.
Nice.
So let's look at some of the teams you play. You play Thursday and you play Saturday. You'll play Thursday at Hal Hennard, and then you'll play Saturday at Legion Field. You begin with Sullivan East Thursday at 4:30, and then turn around and play Daniel Boone on Thursday at 5:45. So looking at both of those matchups, what can you tell me about the Lady Patriots and the Lady Blazers?
I really don't know a whole lot about either team. I know, they're both bigger schools, so I'm sure they'll be formidable opponents. Sullivan East, I know they're in that conference with, I think, Crockett and Elizabethton and all them, so that's usually a real good conference. So I'm sure they'll be a tough bunch. And Boone's just a perennial power as far as softball goes. I think
both are in that conference now. I think both.
Yeah,
Boone.
but you're right. Boone dropped down. So, yeah, they both are. So, I don't know a whole lot about either team. I've done a little box score watching, I guess, for Boone, and I think they will hit it well. That's for sure. And I'm sure they've got good pitching as well. So, we'll have our hands full in both games.
Taking off on Friday, and then you'll resume action in the Tiny Day tournament on Saturday with Jefferson County and Knox Central, Kentucky, not Knox Central, Tennessee. So do not get confused like I did. 10 a.m. versus Jefferson County, and then 12:30 versus Knox Central at Legion Field. What can you tell me about your expectations in both of those games?
I know absolutely nothing about Knox Central, Kentucky.
Not many people probably do. We know they're the Panthers, Lady Panthers. So
I guess we'll just show up and hope we play well, and let it fall where it may. But that's about all you can do in that game. And then Jeff County, we know they'll be good. They're I think having a pretty good season. They're a big school. They've played some good teams, so they'll be a really tough matchup for us as well.
As a head coach, I want to dive into your mindset a little bit. I always like asking this question when head coaches enter tournaments like this where you don't really know a lot about the teams that you're playing. It's fun to play new opponents like that, but it's also a little nerve-wracking because you don't know what to expect. So whenever you go into tournaments like the Tiny Day, I know some compete in the Eastman tournament. In basketball, you've got the Ladies Classic, you've got Thanksgiving tournaments. What is your mindset when you go into tournaments like that, playing teams that you're unfamiliar with?
You really have to just focus on you and not as much on the other team. Hopefully you play your best. Hopefully you're sharp. Hopefully you're doing all the stuff that we expect out of the girls. And if we do that, we feel like we have a chance no matter who we play. So that's kind of our mindset going into it. And then also, like in softball anyways, we know there's a time limit on these games. I think they're an hour and 15 minutes. So it's important to start fast and get some momentum kind of right out of the gate. Both offensively and coming out and kind of setting the tone defensively. So either way, you've got to get off to a good start.
That's what I love about tournaments. There's a strategy behind it when it comes to the Tiny Day tournament.
Yep. And I do think in the Tiny Day, even in pool play, I think they do finish the inning, so it doesn't really benefit you necessarily to be the away team like it might be if you were playing like a drop-dead time limit. But, you certainly have to get off to a quick start early in the game.
And then after Saturday's action, Sunday will be bracket play. Each team will be reseeded and put into specific brackets. I think it's bronze, silver, and gold bracket, I think is the way that they do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Depending on how you finish in your pool play on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But once again, North Greene plays on Thursday and Saturday in the Tiny Day tournament. Thursday at 4:30 and 5:45 versus Sullivan East and Daniel Boone at Hal Henner. Then Saturday at 10 a.m. and 12:30 against Jefferson County and Knox Central. That will be at Legion Field. So if you want to go out and support the Lady Huskies and watch some softball action at the Tiny Day tournament, that's when you'll find them. Sunday will be TBD. Let's get into next week's action when you're back in the regular season with teams that you're more familiar with.
Yeah.
And I say that because they're both conference games. They're the most important games on the schedule. You play Hampton on Monday, a team that you're very familiar with and just played. You travel up there on Monday and then host Unaka on Tuesday. So what are you expecting in both of those games?
First off, it's just real poor scheduling by me to have conference games on Monday and Tuesday after the Tiny Day tournament because there's a good chance that you could play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday with multiple games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
the minimum of 7 games in 6 days.
Yeah, just poor scheduling by me. But we knew that we got off kind of to a late start this year, so we did have to pack our schedule pretty good in April to get all the games in that we needed to get in. So there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room there. And the people at the Tiny Day tournament really helped us out by letting us play on Thursday to kind of spread those games out for us a little bit. And I think it helps them out too because they want to fill those Thursday spots, and not many teams can play on Thursday. So that did help us a little bit. But we just got to get geared up and ready to go for Monday. We go to Hampton, so kind of a long trip there, and just got to get there and hopefully be sharp again. And hopefully we'll have some momentum from the Tiny Day tournament, just depending on how you play though. Even if you don't play well, you gotta find the momentum. So hopefully we'll have a good showing on Monday. And then Tuesday, Unaka, that's always a big one. And they've got a good team. I don't remember what their record is. I want to say they're like 10-4 or something. they're off to a good start, and I think they've played a pretty tough schedule so far. So they had a big win over Cloudland yesterday, so they're playing well. We'll have to bring it against them. I actually don't remember if that game's home or away.
Which one?
The one on Tuesday against Unaka.
Hosting Tuesday and then traveling Thursday.
Okay. I knew we played them back-to-back games there.
According to Game Changer, Unaka 11-4 at the moment.
Yeah, they're a good bunch.
Very good.
They'll be a very good team.
Go ahead.
Ken always does a really good job with them. They're competitive every year, no matter who they've lost or no matter who they've got. They're always good.
I don't think you should blame yourself for the scheduling. I think you should blame Coach Buchanan for holding those girls hostage in March. I think that's who you need to put the blame on, because you always start late because he keeps half your team from you.
If he wouldn't win so much.
If he wouldn't win so much and hold them girls hostage and take them to Murfreesboro every year, hey, we wouldn't have to have 30 games in the month of April. But I'm just kidding. It gets you ready for the tournament, though.
Yeah, it does.
Not only just district and regions, but I mean state tournament when you're playing multiple games
in a day or back to back or whatever.
So, I mean, this prepares you for May.
Yeah, no, it does. It's good for us, it's hard whenever you're going through it. It's kind of like in the MLB season, you got the dog days, but kind of the same thing here in late April. You're grinding, you're playing a lot, and especially once it gets hot, sometimes it can be kind of strenuous there, but you just got to push through, and hopefully you're playing your best at the end.
Well, hopefully you're still here and you're not beat up and worn out by the time we sit down next time playing the minimum of 7 games within 6 days. I hope it's more than 7. I hope you crack some teams in bracket play and make it all the way to the end and win another, which I think you did last year, beating West Greene in the Bronze Championship.
We did, yep. Hopefully we do a little better in pool play this year. Maybe we get, in the gold or the whatever the middle one is, but our goal is certainly to get in the gold bracket, but you have to play well. We play some good teams that are definitely capable of putting hurting on you if you don't play well.
Once again, Thursday and Saturday is when North Greene will compete in the Tiny Day. Go back and rewind about 3 minutes, go and listen to the times and locations, and then Monday and Tuesday with Hampton and Unaka. But unless there's anything else you've got to add, well,
no,
that's it.
That's it.
I'm going to walk uphill and I'm going to go talk to Coach Jamie Palmer.
Good deal. Sounds good.
That's all we got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.